6th will be consolation prizes, but they're prizes that neither of these two want at the moment. Rather tasty slice of luncheon meat and a Six Nations sandwich, if you like, nestling in between Murrayfield and the Stade de France. Here we are at Sandy Park, two of the top 4 striving to hold on to what they have, with affairs looked after by Dean Richards. Chiefs, who will kick off in black and white, or is it white and gold? Who can tell these days? Bath definitely in their change strip, of that there is no doubt. And Henry Slade goes high and long and down the middle. First job for Leroy Houston is to gather in the kick. Start Bath's efforts to move downfield. Started so confidently last Saturday. You may well have been watching them with us against Northampton at the Rec. That early try, certainly in the second half, they found themselves drowned, strangled by the way Saints played, and they're going to have to deal with the likes of Thomas Waldron today.
We seem to complain about this law every time. We've got it already, where a player carrying at full tilt gets the leg drive going, a referee decides it's a maul. And because the Bath players fall on top and don't roll away, which they're perfectly entitled to do within the law, he's still moving forward. He never stops moving forward. They've latched on. It's a good bit of choke tackling from Bath, but come on, World Rugby, let's change that law and make that a ruck when it collapses.
So much a part of Thomas Waldron's game. A game that he's loving at the moment. He's rediscovered himself since the move down.
Because of it, it means players aren't as keen to carry the ball back as hard, and they're looking to dive on the floor as soon as they get there. It's not conducive to good attacking rugby.
The problem is they're not going to change it before the World Cup. We're too close to it now. It'll have to come in after the World Cup.
It's just up. It's just up.
The scrum was a little bit of a mess.
Okay. A lot of players in that front row wanting to lay down a marker to their opposite number, to the referee.
Not push him in. I need a gap here to ear, not head to shoulder. Not head to shoulder. Instruction, heads above hips, please.
Dean Richards wanting to lay down a marker to both sides. Exactly what he wants, trying to make the rest of his afternoon a lot easier.
Thomas Francis on the left-hand side, the right side of Chiefs scrum. Enormous impact since he arrived at the start of the season from London Scottish. She caught Warren Gatlin's eye. He's got a grandmother from Wales. He's been brilliant. Up against young Nick Orterack today. Paul James shadowing Gethin Jenkins at the Stade de France this evening. Bath trying to force their way over the ball. There was no hooking of it back. But they're rescued, I think, by Carl Rimmer and the angle that he was taking up.
And Francis in a superb position there on this near side, but the referee felt that Rimmer had gone in too early. Let's have a look at this side.
Outside.
It's a twist in, the arm comes up over the top.
On the line, you're on the line. If you catch it, you're outside. If you catch it, you're outside. Line out.
Ken Palmer Newport, beneficiary of Henry Thomas's elevation to the England squad this weekend. Last time he started a Premiership match, David Flatman and Peter Dixon were part of the Bath squad. It's that long ago. He's barely played in the league over the last few years.
Use it!
Nicky Young, the Bath 9 again today. Chris Cook is well enough to take his place on the bench, but it is the Newcastle-bound Young who'll get us underway. And here goes Burgess. He's lost it. But interesting to see them using Burgess in that way. There's been a lot of talk in recent times, Austin, about how they need to get the best out of him.
Yeah, it's way too telegraphed, though, because all it does defensively, it lets you line him up with 2 hitters. Slade does really well. Burgess carries the ball like a lot of league players do, very high in the tackle. That means he gets his hands through, but it also makes it open. Ewers goes over the top there. They get away with it that time, and on a few occasions you'll be given that as a knock-on.
Again, the same thing, just
they've just got to be a bit cleverer about how they get this big guy into the game. Give him a bit more space.
Score from the Kassam, by the way, in a 2:30 kickoff. Irish have already got their bonus point try. London Welsh have now conceded over 100 in the Aviva Premiership this season. Exeter against Sale, a 3 o'clock kickoff. Lawrence Pearce, who joined the club from Rotherham this season, has scored. Tigers ahead. And David Strettle and Andy Saul with a try for the Falcons against his old club, but Saracens leading early on in the 3 o'clock kickoff. A couple of cheap scrums, a couple of penalties conceded.
I think that was just one of those scrums where, because Bath were moving forward when the penalty was given to them, All Track had gone in at an angle, a bit similar to Rimmer did at the last scrum, but because he's going forward when he does, he gets away with it.
There's Ross Batty, 101st game for the club last weekend. Century off the bench against the Saints. He's getting to play his cards from the start today against Rob Baxter's pack. And here's Tom Homer, who's had better days at the office than last Saturday. This, however, from short range, bang in front of the posts.
Yep.
A little bit of early control in Bath's scrum means that Tom Homer has the opportunity to put the visitors ahead.
A little bit of a wind behind Bath as well, so they'll want to take advantage of that. Take every opportunity of the points just to extend that lead. Try and change the way Exeter want to play when they've got the wind behind them.
Once again, Slade goes straight down the middle, and once again it's Leroy Houston underneath it. Matt Garvey making way for the return of the Australian to the back row. Carl Ferns moving across to 6 today.
Wait, okay now.
Rokodaguni will chase the clearing kick from Young. Waldrom's underneath it, as he always is, and off he chugs once more. Doesn't get caught with the ball this time, instead he finds Dolman.
Off flag,
was all a little bit congested as he tried to thread that kick through.
Just Young's kicking, box kicking, has just been a little bit too long the last couple of times. They've got away with it both times, but Waldrom's got a lot of grass in front of him when he receives the ball. He's got time to make decisions, pick the weak defender that he wants to run at. That's just too long. You see, there's no temptation of Bath to accelerate and try and catch man and ball. They get a little bit tight, he gets the offload away. Not a lot came of it, but just need to be careful. He's dangerous carrying the ball back from the back of the pitch.
Some pretty impressive number 8s that he tops the list of. Last of his 5 England caps, by the way, in Dublin 2 years ago. So the fixture England are contemplating tomorrow. 2 years ago, the last time Waldrom wore the white of England.
It's getting a bit earlier, guys.
He's reaching the kind of, I'm not suggesting he's about to be picked, but he's reaching the kind of form again that won him that international call-up initially.
Hey, wait!
Young
No,
again,
okay.
it's a long clearing kick. No chance for Rokodaguni, the chaser, to get close to Tom James.
Hold, Black, hold!
Dolman.
Good.
Fires it back towards Devoto. Charged once again with filling a shirt normally occupied by Ford. Ferns. He's big and he's strong and rumbustious, and he'll get Bath on the front foot. Eastman working as hard as anyone to win matches during this Six Nations window, but again, the clearing kick allowed James time to pick his spot, but Devoto was well positioned.
Yeah, you're good.
It's a Slade. It's all about kickers looking for grass at the moment, which Devoto did, but it sat up quite nicely for Witten to run onto, and he'll chase his own kick, and Young is across and does well.
It's just noticeable every time Exeter have the ball. Bath have got 4. At one time there, they had 5 players stood at the back waiting for the kick. They're obviously expecting Exeter just to kick it back to them.
Newport hang around with the ball, finds Burgess, who finds Devoto, who does well to find Batty as he was falling.
Doesn't Batty do well to spin out, create this overlap?
Homer drives it over halfway. Here's Young. There's a momentum about this, and Lowe has got Rokoduguni in support to the right. Rokoduguni with men to beat, he's got to get beyond Hill. Lowe makes sure that it's still white ball to play with, but it's been intercepted. And the charge for the line. Has Mom got the wheels? No. And then Rimmer's brought down. No question about whether he was brought down without the ball, and I think that's why Richard's whistle's gone.
I think he touched it first and knocked it into the air, in which case he's trying to control the ball. The tackle's entitled.
Touch on the far side is Tom Foley.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I agree with you, Ben. I think
Player was pulled back in the penalty. We'd like you to look at wide screen. Was there a try scoring opportunity?
I think Dean Richards might be a little bit out of breath there.
Okay,
It's
so
been quite
looking
a
for
fast
the
couple of
pullback.
minutes, but
Yeah.
I agree. I think the ball was touched first.
Yeah.
Okay, stand by.
Mickey Young was chasing back, wasn't he?
Okay, stand by.
It was a try the other way, though. If the pass hadn't got, if it had gone past Munn for Kyle Eastman, he was under the posts.
So the initial burst from Dean Mumm as he ran out of petrol and flipped the ball back up.
Oh, he's actually
Oh,
pulling
he
him
has
back
got- he's got his
before he
left hand,
touches the
hasn't
ball,
he?
isn't he?
He's got his left hand just
Yeah.
on the jersey.
Couldn't see from that camera angle, but here I think you will. There, he's already pulling him back.
Well, that's a yellow card then.
Okay, what I'm seeing, he's definitely got hold of him, but there are players there. Yeah. Jeff,
Yeah, go ahead, Dean.
if you can just get us the number, he's definitely pulled back, but we've got defenders around, so I'm not going any further. It'll be a penalty. If you can give me the number, please.
Agree, penalty. The number is Bath 9.
9, please. Off you go.
An early breather for Mickey Young. Feel a little unfortunate. It was a split-second decision. He wasn't far away from getting it right.
And actually, he probably didn't need to, because he was a quick enough player to catch the man. He just got his timing slightly wrong.
The officials are making the point as well that there were other white shirts around.
Yeah, brilliant interplay from Bath. That rollout from Batty, absolutely superb to create the overlap on the outside. Lowe and Rokoduguni, some good interplay, but the ball back inside. Just not quite going to hand, and then we saw a brilliant break to give this opportunity.
All square. Talking about what Henry Slades brings to the side at 10. He's a top kicker as well. A red letter day against Quins. 27 of the 32 points, which actually equal Gareth Steenson's individual club record in a Premiership match. He's hot on Steenson's heels. He may well have overtaken him. It certainly has at the moment in terms of selection. Another young 10, Devoto, gets Bath underway once more, and this is James. First Premiership start for 5 months for the Welshman. He's heading back to Cardiff at the end of the season.
5 Bath players at the back again, ready for that kick. Roy Houston well and truly smashed back in the tackle.
Porterat takes the hit but keeps the ball for Hooper to move on to. And he holds on to it. It's a good battle at the breakdown at the moment.
Yeah, it is. Ewer's really strong player over the ball. He's a big unit. But he gets down well, and he's got that immense upper body strength, so difficult to move. I had a word with JP Doyle the other week, and he said that players really now have to be proving that they're trying to lift the ball at the breakdown, not just putting their hands past it. We know they can't support their body weight with their hands, but if they're having a go at the ball, they'll win the penalty.
Beavered his way to 4 or 5 turnovers against Harlequins, Ben, with work just like this.
Yeah, look how he's lifting the ball, so they try and clear him out. His hands are on. He's trying to get it up, a clear case of a player not releasing on the floor.
Waldron to Ewers, who has shoulders built to play this game. Angling into the opposition, but Ball not cherished then.
Some collision between Burgess and Ewers, wasn't it? I think Burgess won it originally, but the spin in the tackle meant Ewers could keep going.
Let's go, guys, please, come on.
Knocks the man half back, but he just bounces off him and keeps the leg drive going, ends up winning the contact. And then just the feet as they go over the top, dislodging the ball and making it difficult for Will Chudley.
Remains uncapped by England. I know there are plenty in these parts who are a little bit puzzled why he hasn't had a bigger impact on the Test team yet. His days are ahead of him.
This will be a test for Kyle Eastman. In rugby league, you're allowed to put it at the number 8's feet. Not quite the same at rugby union when you're playing scrum off, and I think this will probably be the first time he's put the ball in.
It's Mickey Young serving his yellow card. A new test for Eastman. That ball has been lost on the far side, and Chiefs drive over the top and picked up by Waldron. Taken on by Welch. We'll have another look at that scrum to make sure that everything was above board. Make sure that there were no hands involved where they shouldn't have been, but Chiefs have possession to work with, and Whitten involving Matt Jess. Jess wearing 11 but playing on the right wing today. And here goes Sam Hill. He's tackled by Burgess. Whitten to Waldron. Ewers was offering himself, but he was a decoy, and Whitten tries to find some space that Dolman was occupying, and this is James. Lots of strength, and that close to the try line.
Consistency. Hooper attacking the ball. Just as Exeter were in striking distance, I think justice might have been done. I'm pretty sure Thomas Waldron knocked the ball on as Exeter won the ball against the head. Won it against the head. Waldron can see it coming, but it bobbles, and that goes forward. Probably a good job for Dean Richards that this wasn't a try, but very, very close. Good decoy runners, creates the 3-on-2. Lovely little cutback. Great cover from Ollie Devoto on the inside, and then Hooper, good work rate for the big man to get over there.
Snaffled by Lowe. Off he goes again, the Springbok. Ferns to Orterac. Burgess misses out Homer to find Ollie Woodburn. One of those odd afternoons for Woodburn where he's playing against the bunch that he'll be playing for next season, and again the battle, the scrap for possession on the floor, and how many black shirts drove over the top, folding over the top and clearing white ones away.
Another little lesson in Sam Burgess's rugby union education, to not switch off when you think you've won the ball at a breakdown. And the man who pumps it into the corner, Henry Slade, takes full advantage. Often players they do switch off when they think the ball's won, and it gives you opportunity. The best time to counter a ruck is not straight away, but when people think they've won it. And then overcomes Slade and knocks Burgess off the ball.
Over the top of the line out to Ewers. And Slade flying over the top, and looks like a car careering around an icy corner. Had no control.
That's not how you... So one good bit of breakdown play from Slade, and then one fairly mindless. Maybe he got a bit carried away with his turnover before.
Line's yours.
It's actually Devoto who does it by just stepping away from the breakdown. He closes his eyes, think here's a big collision coming, and there was no one there.
A minorly major committee meeting going on amongst the back forwards before this line out. Ross Batty has the secret code. Whatever it was, it said throw it to Francois Lowe. Palmer Newport has it at the back. It's a real lump, Palmer Newport, strong as well. Three of Bath's four lineouts have been taken by Lowe so far, and a loose ball to Burgess, rescued by with a jiggery pokery from the pack.
A word with Thomas Waldron for swimming up the side of the maul and then interfering with play.
What have you been beavering away with?
Well, just looking back at the Sam Burgess technique, the only problem he makes is he gets both of his feet side by side beyond the tackler. You have to split your feet, otherwise it's like someone bending down behind you in the classroom and someone pushing you, and you naturally fall over the body. And that's all he's done wrong. He's just got to split your feet. You get your feet side by side, you haven't got that low centre of gravity base. But he's been getting to a lot of rucks so far.
Line-out, I think, has been taken by Rimmer. Not going to plan for the visitors. And now the Chiefs have the scrum.
I like the way Ben pulled a face when I said someone crouching down behind. You definitely did that when you were at school.
Oh, I thought you meant recently. You've been hanging around in classrooms, bending over.
Nicky Young, not far away from rejoining us.
Just stay there, stay behind the ball. Just stay behind the ball. Thank you.
Still on Jonathan Evans, Newport West Dragons scrum half, is definitely on his way. Confirmation of that from the club this week. Another one of those replacing Young, who's leaving. Nico Matawalu as well, the Glaswegian Fijian.
Hold still, don't crouch.
And lots of options at 9 next season, as well as Chris Cook, who's been brilliant this campaign.
If Exeter get a left shoulder here on the scrum, so the loose head goes up, it's a really good position to attack from. There's shorter numbers on the right back, and they're short in the backfield as well. They got it.
Ian Whitten, often a winger, positioned wide out on the left, and now he and Tom James are switching. James has really taken his place on the left wing. Whatever plan they were hatching never came to fruition. Woodburn chasing to get underneath this, and the bounce nearly worked for him, but Welch got there instead, and Hill instead gives it some air to Whitten. He's got Dolman beyond him, who did well to take it. Goes beyond Burgess. He's still got a lot of work to do, but there's a little bit of acceleration there from Phil Dolman.
Yeah, it was an opportunity because of the poor kick, and everyone stood still. They win it back. The bounce is favourable for Exeter. And then good vision from Welch to go wide. And look, Rockadugani steps in, and that creates the opportunity, but just enough pressure from a combination of Homer and Burgess.
Dean Richards has just given this Bath line up the hurry-up. Again, they took their time to form it. This one is taken by Day. Holding the fort again while England have Dave Atwood, although he's played a part in every Premiership and European game this season. Part of Bath's impressive squad. Eastman to his midfield compadre Burgess. Spins up towards halfway. Devoto, all 6'4" of him. Batty. Beyond the midway point of the first half. Penalties from Homer and Slade. All the match has to offer points-wise thus far, but plenty of endeavour. Here goes Devoto. And this is Burgess. I think it was lateral rather than forward, despite the protestations of the locals around us. Even so, Chiefs have it.
Burgess turned over again, holding the ball up.
Homer coming across, the ball doesn't reach him though, and Young had to be sharp as he was chased down by Hill and co.
Use it! We're inside. Hold wide. Okay, now.
Devoto. This will fall into the arms of Matt Jess, the chief. Been around longer than most these days. Still going strong. He's just signed a new long-term contract, so he'll be around even longer. Ewers. Dolman. Didn't quite stick. The pass to Welch. Talking of extended deals, well, Baxter and all of his coaches have signed new contracts.
Just so we have a little bit of gas. We're not in on resting.
It's a nice pickup, wasn't it? Exeter doing remarkably well in the conditions. Into a really stiff breeze, but they're territorially on top. I just sense, Ben, that they're carrying the ball a little bit harder than Bath and making more gain line carries. Bath can't get their multi-phase game going at all.
Alex Lewington scored Irish's latest try. I've already got the bonus point. And Leicester with a penalty try in what was a potentially tricky fixture for them. 3 o'clock kickoff. At the moment, they're in control of it. Lasana Tuolangi scored a try for Newcastle. Charlie Hodgson's penalty the difference, though. Kicked off at 3 o'clock at Allianz Park.
You're concerned, I will do, but I'm also looking at you, Lisa, here.
A good carry initially. Gets the leg drive, and he has another shot at it.
Yeah.
Another good carry, but puts the art ball up in the air, so he gets through the first tackle, sort of thinking about the offload, or trying to get someone to latch onto him. You need to keep that ball under the chest, not allow the hands to get in there.
No. There's your mark. Please don't come over it, okay?
He's learning a new language, and you've had the chance to watch Bath train at Farley House.
That's good.
Burgess spent so much time after the training session working with the likes of Neil Hatley on the nuts and bolts. He'll spend half an hour with the tackle bags, getting his clear-out routine sorted. It's what he has to do. He's gone back into the classroom.
Just look at the Bath backline, that formation they like, almost a diamond formation off the first receiver. Devoto in behind Eastman's first receiver, with Burgess outside him, and then the ability to go in behind and play a bit wider.
Well, that's nicely done, and this is Rokoduguni set free by Eastman, but the tackle was an important one. Chudley just grabbing some important studs at the back end of the truck, and that caused the jackknife. Lowe lays it back for Young, and Devoto did really nicely to find Homer. But the tackle from Whitten needed to be made, and it was. And this is Ferns, and Lowe again. Trying to build something just outside the Chiefs' 22. Eastman to Orterak. That's gone forward, and we can have a word with Rob Baxter. Anything that you can take from that first 24, 25 minutes that gives you hope, Rob? What's really impressing you?
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, you know, we are playing into kind of the breeze that's there. You know, the scores are relatively even. What we could probably do is a few more scrum put-ins, and then we can hopefully try and exert some pressure on Bath, because at the moment there's a lot of Bath put-ins. It's relatively difficult to attack an opposition scrum nowadays, so hopefully, you know, we can start to exert some pressure on the set piece our way. I'd like us to be going forward a little bit more defensively. I think we've become a little bit passive and a little bit looking and watching Bath, and I think we've got to be putting pressure on them. You know, it is a different half-back combination to their first line. And we've got to put some pressure on that. At the minute, we're not really doing that.
And a lot of kicking from both teams. Was that part of the plan? You don't want to be playing it in your own half too much.
I think it's like anything, isn't it? You know, you've got good goal kickers on both teams. You know, you don't want to be making your errors in your own territory. It's an important game. I think both teams are probably a little bit nervy, and I think that's showing in some of the handling errors. So, you know, I think territory is going to be a big factor in today's game.
Cheers, Rob.
Thank you.
They get put into the scrum here that Rob Baxter was saying we need more of. Probably not in this area of the field. We want them a bit closer, as he said, further away from the boot of Homer.
Just the second put in for Will Chudley, who's enjoying his most productive Premiership season. From a Newcastle man.
Again, a case of doing something when you're not going forward. You stand up when you're marching the opposition backwards. You'll tend to get the penalty.
Into the East Terrace, Oz.
Yeah, just looking back at that previous carry and the break by Rokoduguni, it all comes down to Sam Hill. Watch, the only way he's looking is at Burgess. He's the only man he's targeting, and that's all about reputation. And he takes him, he makes the decision, therefore it's not crossing. It opens the gap on the outside. Rokoduguni goes through. That's that battle between Sam Hill's defence and Kyle Eastman's deft hands.
If he doesn't take Burgess in that situation. He stands to look foolish, though, doesn't he? It's a tough one.
Well, you need your help from the inside man. Slade needs to push up with you on the outside shoulder, but they weren't helped because the left-hand wheel on the scrum took all the back row away from the inside defence.
Here goes Chudley. Started the season as third choice 9, behind Dave Lewis and Hayden Thomas. He's first choice now. Carl Ring wrestles it forward. Ben Moon missing after hitting his neck at Harlequins. Slade finding Witten. Ross Batty working hard to keep that ball off the floor, but it's eventually James's to use. Really made the impact, Tom James, at Sandy Park that we might have expected him to when he first joined, but he's getting his chance today. Ticking away on his Chiefs career before a move back home. Waldron. Ewers. Been lost forward.
Over.
Combination of Waldron and Ewers. Losing the ball in the wrong direction.
Yep.
Some good passage of play from Exeter. And then towards the end, they try and latch on. Ewers trying to rip the ball off Waldron, keep the momentum going. Doesn't take it with him.
Taken in by Armand, fit again, regaining his place in the starting pack ahead of Ben White, who's on the bench. And they win another penalty, dragging it down, and Stuart Hooper's having a little lecture.
He's entitled to be there, Hooper. He's gone right through the middle of them all. But it doesn't mean just because you're there that you can pull it over. There's more than one body in on the Bath defence. You've got to stop it without pulling it over. See, he does well initially, gets right through the middle, straight onto the ball. But you can see Palmer Newport in there, Autorak in there, and he drops it and goes to ground himself.
Looked like Armand had hold of him as well, though. He's pulling into the ground too.
Don't close. Hooker. Jack.
I think it's worth explaining how difficult it is actually to stay on your feet in a situation like that when you've got so much pressure from both sides.
White, stay!
On by Monk.
Move! Scott half! Shot once, backwards early.
In control of possession. She's trying to generate a bit of forward momentum.
I think Houston's coming from the side there, yeah. The referee's assistant's seen it, playing advantage.
Still playing
Chudley to Slade, it's opening up a little bit here, and Witten pinning his ears back, charging for the line, and oh, the pass was just a little bit low, and Dolman couldn't stretch down.
Not sure how that's not advantage. But we're going back for the penalty against Leroy Houston for coming in at the side and stopping the drive. Really good carry initially from Witten to take the meters that are available in front of him, just the quality of the pass.
They had him on the angle. He didn't need to pass Witten there, because when you're running at that sort of speed, on that sort of angle, naturally you will get to the try line. It's a really good break. You watch how Slade turns the corner and he sits down Eastman, so he can't move. Now he just needs to accelerate, 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 get to the inside shoulder of Woodman, make him make a decision. You don't need to throw the pass then.
In 15.
Yendall fires it long to Mum. Beautifully worked to involve Waldron, and then picked up by the skipper again, the former Wallaby. 4 metres short of our first try of the afternoon.
Out 6-1.
In this big match between two of the Aviva Premiership's top 4. Both desperate to maintain a toehold on their place in the playoffs. One of them may well be slipping out by the end of this weekend. Ewers, again, those curved shoulders driving towards the line. Waldron's waiting, so is Thomas Francis. Now Waldron has it, runs into Autorak. He's got some help from Armand. The white wall just about holding. There are bits of mortar flying off, though. Chiefs chipping away, but they will chip away no more.
And they needed, when Waldron carried there and got the momentum, once they're in behind, they need quick ball. Because if you're struggling as a defender to get onside, you've got to be passive. If you can lift it straight away and keep the momentum going, you've got a good chance of getting over the line. If you pause, you allow the opposition defenders to get back in position and get on their toes and make a big, dominant hit as they come around the corner. Again, the penalty, or the turnover, sorry, for a collapse more.
Ali Heaper on the left, Rob Baxter on the right. Austin, what have you got?
Just looking back at that break on the outside, it all comes from Burgess. He steps in on the outside, creates the space, but then watch how good Slade is. It's so easy to give that ball earlier and allow Eastman to defend on the drift. He doesn't, he straightens him up. All these guys now need to do is get to the inside shoulder of the runner, sit them down, and it's a 3-on-2. They don't, they keep running. Ollie Woodburn does particularly well, though, to buy time by backing off. But that should have been a certain try for Exeter. A lot of players in the midfield nowadays tend to overread what's going to happen. They step in, they're almost, it's their natural instinct. Let me step into the ball and try and stop it at source, rather than just letting things happen in front of you and then react to them.
Big bad scrum.
Bind.
Their own try line just 5 metres away, a little bit less if you're Leroy Houston. Carefully piked in like cream from Mickey Young, and they will get possession a little bit more easily from the penalty.
I don't think referees are quite refereeing the straight put into the scrum as vigorously as they were a few months ago. That ball was almost put onto the foot, or the knee as it was, of Batty.
It's a familiar subject. You talk to any hooker up and down the Premiership these days, and they will say it's a contest to win the space over the ball. So few of them actually hook it back. It's just put it in, drive over.
It was a bit, once the horse is bolted, trying to go back to hooking when defensive sides have been so good.
Whoa, Woodburn did brilliantly. He snatched it away from Jess, and as he tried to find Batty, it looked like that went forward, and it's been picked up by the touch judge on this near side, Paul Burton.
How good was Batty staying on the field of play then? It's like on a tightrope. It was millimetres from the touchline.
What about this take from Woodburn as well?
Well, watch the technique. Eyes on the ball all the way through, gets through all the traffic. That's a good take, isn't it? Just gets his hands up slightly before Jess. I enjoyed seeing Batty, though, trying to stay on the field of play. This is excellent. Look at him, tiptoe. Is he in? Is he out?
He's good company, Ross Batty. Heading to go ahead of Rob Webber today. He's
black scrum, knock on white.
soft Geordie accent.
Yes.
Never been out on the town with Ross Batty. He was the kind of bloke that you could only imagine it would involve a bit of fun.
Step up.
He did well there.
Yes.
Ben giving me that cup of cocoa in bed by 8 o'clock look.
You've even now the players are your imaginary friends as well. They're all my friends.
Yes.
So 5 minutes to half time. Chiefs splintering, but still holding the ball, and here goes Slade. And Jess threads that up the touchline, gathered by Homer. He's got Woodburn taking the long route around him, but Homer takes it on himself. Young, Devoto. Mom got in the way, and for the second time he was off on a lone gallop to the try line, but he couldn't control it. But Houston can, and Young does really well to run onto that. Eastman offering what weight he has at that breakdown. Alterac has a bit more to punch a hole. Devoto, Burgess running into Hill. There's a battle that between Burgess and Hill, and here goes Devoto, who is a glider. Was it here that he scored that fabulous try last season? And that run draws the penalty in front of the posts. They know what Ollie Devoto can do, ball in hand, with the try line in his sights, and he was on his way there.
He's a different sort of 10.
Black one it was.
We know that Ford's brilliant at putting people through a hole, but he's not as good a carrier as this man, particularly in traffic.
See what we doing?
Good presentation, and then Rimmer a little bit lucky not to see a yellow card there.
He's just going to have some competition next season, not just George Ford. Reece Priestland on his way from the Scarlets. Rory Jennings as well, a new name who's coming through the England under-20 fly half. He's on the bench today. May or may not get to see Jennings make his Premiership debut, but he's an option for Mike Ford. Some running repairs for their number 8. Replacement for him would be Matt Garvey or Far Saliba.
Bad couple of choices, is it?
Ooh, he toyed with that right hand upright. Slid it in the right side, Bath ahead, 6-3.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is Garvey who's coming on for Houston. A little bit of a shuffle in the back row. I think Garvey will go to 6. Maybe Carl Fernsall, he could potentially slot over to 7 with lower 8. Or just go straight to 8 himself.
They might just revert to that back 3 that they had against Saints.
Knock on advantage.
With Ferns at 8 and
White.
Garvey at 6, we'll see. We'll get a better idea here. This is how he hurt himself.
It was a really good carry, explodes in the contact.
I need stability and balance before the ball, please.
Not like a instant agony, did it? Pulled the calf by the looks of it.
A short turnaround between now and Bath's next game. They're home to Sale at the Rec next Friday.
Bind!
You'll be able to see live here on BT Sport.
Free kick. Through the mark.
She's taken quickly by Waldron.
Thank you.
Not one to hang around. Mum running into Day, who makes the tackle. Burgess was up quickly. Slowed it down.
Those two have met each other before today with explosive consequences. Another big tackle. Again,
Backwards.
didn't he do well to stay on his feet?
Being pressed by Orterak, but James makes some ground. Chudley to Mum, to Slade, to Dolman. One of the Jets to his right is Jess. Dolman holds on to it, and they lose it. Just a little bit of imprecision from both sides in those areas have just held up the momentum of the match a little.
It's good opportunity on that outside. It's just those outside channels, some of the balls not sticking.
On the set. Don't want it moving at all.
Over the last couple of weeks, accused of maybe defending a little bit too tight. Eastman has a nibble at the intercept here, realises at the last second it's not on, slows down, but then it's always a recovery. He does very well to cut the angles and work in tandem with Woodburn. And that's just those channels that Exeter need to control the ball, because they've pulled in all the defenders and it's back. It's on the other way.
We saw it work on the far side, didn't we, with a simple switch from the outside man. And you see a defence drifting so hard in front of you. That's the main thing you want to be thinking about. Cut back on the angle and get on someone's inside shoulder.
When Northampton was so good against Bath last week, was doing that, working to one side, and then once Bath got dragged across, exploiting the opportunities on the other wing.
Thank you. Yeah, keep it square, just keep locked. Keep your hips in as well, though.
Coaches with their notes set to deliver some half-time thought, which isn't far away.
Crouch! Bind! Set!
Young has the signal to put the ball in. Again, it's not really a snapback. Carnby just driving over the ball, but they win the penalty.
Back 5. Straight. That's time, yes, it's time.
I think Carl Ferns is keen to get this out of play as quickly as possible, but he'll give the job to Ollie Devoto. Lots of huff and puff as Bath gather for the half-time huddle, and it's the kickers who've dominated the scoreboard. Henry Slade for the Chiefs, but 2 from Homer have Bath ahead at half-time. The thoughts of the great Dwayne Peel when we return. Chiefs 3, Bath 6.
Well, we're still here in Devon then as the teams retake the pitch, and while the Sandy Park faithful here are currently enjoying their half-time refreshments, it gives us a little time to remind you that rugby tonight is on as ever Monday night, and it's a London Irish special. Bob Casey and Tom Court will be our guests, so make sure you join us then if you can. I wonder if Bob will be smiling after tomorrow's Six Nations big match. We'll also be discussing the relegation promotion issue in the Premiership that's been brought to light this week too, so make sure you join us then on Monday night. Okay, but without any further ado now, let's go back to our commentators for the second half, Austin Penn and Nick Mullins.
Well, as things are shaping up, this could be a very, very good weekend for Bath, because not only are they winning here, but Saracens, currently 3rd, are losing at home to Newcastle. Saracens 13, Newcastle 17. Will Welch has just put the Falcons ahead. Twists and turns and the intrigue
Not 10.
at the top of the Aviva Premiership as we bear down on the end of the season. Not the best of starts from the visitors, ceding possession immediately to the Chiefs.
Absolutely, trying to utilise the wind to hold the ball up. It's got to go 10, otherwise what you're facing now is territorial backlash.
Just look at the work of the Exeter players going past the ball. They don't want to play it, so they make sure they get the scrum. But if it does bounce straight into Thomas Waldron's hands, he's already behind the whole of the Bath line. So they've got a good opportunity to attack.
Crouch!
Alex Lewington with his 2nd hat-trick of the season, full-time score from the Kassam. Another hefty defeat for the Welsh to digest. Well, that's as comprehensive a scrum as we've seen all afternoon. Chiefs all over them.
Where they had a midfield scrum in the first half, completely out of Henry Slade's range. This time, probably inside his range with the wind.
With the wind, yeah.
About as far as you can go.
It's not as strong a wind as we sometimes get here at Sandy Park, as it flies off the estuary, but it's stiff enough. It's a blow the froth off the top of your pint type wind. Certainly means that the posts 48 or so metres ahead of Henry Slade are within range. By the way, the Chiefs have been talking to the South African 10, Francois Hohard, the balls fly half. Perhaps an option for them next season if negotiations can be concluded. For the time being, however, in Steenson and in Slade, they have 2 outstanding 10s.
Do it quickly.
Might choose to use the digit of Jack Yendall here.
Who's finding out?
Beyond the 60 seconds is allowed for the kick, but from the skipper. A big boot from Slade between the posts. All square, on the breeze. Exeter 6, Bath 6.
Excellent kick from distance, but under pressure as well. The referee's told him he's not got much time. He's asked the referee how long exactly. The referee was entirely sure, but he would have felt the pressure. He just strikes it through as though it was a training ground kick.
Bottom dealt with the restart strongly. Austin moving in from the wing today to cover for Jack Knoll.
Hold!
Who's across the Irish Sea. Devoto. Ferns offering some muscular support. Devoto takes it over halfway. Tackled by Dolman.
Use it!
Palmer Newport. Homer. This is Burgess. Gets the ball away to Batty. Woodburn's on the far side. Whitten's closing him down.
Hands off that now.
Palmer Newport. Wilson and his neck operation, meaning that he'll be out for much of what's left of the season. Bath are hoping to have their tight head back before the end. But Palmer Newport with Thomas with England, busy today. This is Ferns again. Orterak.
Tackle!
Matt Garvey goes over the top. Garvey, first half replacement for Leroy Houston, who looked like he twanged his calf. The word twanged exists. Here goes Burgess.
Might actually work for Bath this, into such a strong breeze that they're just having to play a lot of rugby.
Who's faced in the match so far? That was, again, level with Rockadaguni, who bounces off the tackle of Dolman. Young. Here goes Garvey. Eastman to Burgess. Looking as fluent as they have all match.
Use
Their way up to the fringes of the 22. And there they go. Young. Burgess. Kick over the top. Into touch.
As I said, the wind is making Bath play a bit more. They're creating opportunities. I just think Samesi Rockadaguni is lacking in confidence at the moment. Because I'm sure if he'd had an opportunity like this, he might not have done any more with it. But we saw his footwork at the beginning of the season, which got him that England caller. And just that supreme confidence that he could beat anyone one-on-one. He's almost letting the defender own that, and he just runs straight into him. He does well, he stays on his feet, but I'm sure earlier on in the season we would have seen more footwork and imposing a lot more questions of that last line Exeter defence.
Played in the autumn and then he was injured. Ever since he's been out of the England picture, but that's what he's doing in the Premiership. Won by Lowe. Young to Devoto. Ferns again, who's going through a barrel load of work today. But that's been lost. Taken by Slade. He's a slight but sturdy figure at 10.
That's the problem, isn't it? If you carry the ball really hard, you try and get some ground, it only takes a small mistake and immediately you're back to square one. It's a little bit like snakes and ladders. You work so hard to get up and then all of a sudden you slid all the way back down to the edge of your 22. This wind's just getting progressively stronger and stronger behind the backs of Exeter.
Some strength that from Henry Slade, isn't it? It wasn't as though that Ferns didn't have a good grasp on it or he got hit by someone else. Slade's latched onto the ball with his fingertips and just dragged it out of the big man's grasp.
move. He is okay, he's through the middle.
Garvey smuggling this back for Young. Eastman floated over the top for Homer. Here goes Rockadaguni. Tom James, the backward roll. And Slade again using his weight, and it's been stolen by Chudley. But there was a little bit of offside. I think Ian Whitten coming in from a position that he shouldn't have been. Talking about the increasing wind. Devoto is kicking into now. It all generates down there. That's the ex-estuary in the distance, Dawlish. And it flies off the estuary, gathers speed, gathers speed, gathers speed until it reaches us. And it's now a tornado.
7.
That's the breeze that Bath are playing into in the second half, won by Day.
Move!
See Hooper there shift his position so he can follow Palmer Newport. Needs a little bit of a regeneration of momentum. The guys at the front need to drop a little bit.
Eastman at first receiver, now to Devoto, who's usually there.
Tackle!
Side with Eastman to at first receiver, Austin, that Bath are just trying to do a little bit more with the ball. They used that against Northampton in the second half a week ago.
Yeah, but this time they've got to start winning more collisions. Last week against Northampton, they got absolutely smashed. They're going to play this game line rugby. It will get them somewhere. They've got to be very, very physical.
Batty, the latest to try and mine through that black-shirted defence. Floated over the top to find Woodburn. Hooper. Waldron amongst those trying to scrabble it back, but it's still Bath possession. Devoto to Matt Garvey. Plenty of petrol in the tank. He missed the first half of the season with an ankle injury. Palmer Newport. 2 hours of Premiership action for him over 3 seasons. Starting for the first time today since 2011 and getting his teeth into it now. Young, Devoto, Burgess. It is as fluent as Bath have been all match, and Eastman continues that little link in the chain.
Use it!
Orterac. It's a lot of hard work, ball in hand. That Chiefs defensive line remaining firm for the time being. Devoto to Lowe. Tackled. Gets the ball out of the tackle brilliantly to find Rockadaguni, who stays on his feet and then loses the ball. But it was slapped out illegally, and Bath will get another go.
Time is definitely off. That's a blood change. Yeah.
I'm not sure it's slapped illegally. I think he's just saying that it was knocked on by the
That's a blood change.
Exeter player.
Strip by black, knock on, so it's a white scrum.
Good offload, great leg drive. Could probably have done with Eastman latching onto him to help him through there. Good to see from that angle. Might be better from the front.
Strip by black.
Lovely little fend into the chest.
Phil Dolman.
I think he rips okay, but as he tries to regather it, this is good play. Little ball back inside, but look,
Stitching quickly then.
Young realises he's got to go in. Good reactions from Garvey, who was just going in to clear out, and they managed to keep the momentum going. It's a simple game. Quick ball once you're in behind the opposition, and you'll continue with the momentum.
Starting to find some more lines, isn't he? Sam Burgess, he's starting to pick his times, look at space. There was a little break on the side of the previous ruck where Mickey Youngs ran past him, but he was running at a hole. He's trying to get himself into the game more. He's starting to read it, which is really encouraging for Bath, because he's now picking up the tempo and the pattern of play.
I've watched him the last 3 weeks now, and it seems to be this period of the game, and whether the tactics tend to go a little bit this period of the game, whether he's too focused on the style of play early on, and it's almost frustrating him with the amount of information. But at this period of the game, he sort of just decides, well, I'm just going to take it on myself and run the natural lines. And he looks a lot better.
Meantime, confirmation of the personnel change in the Chiefs front row. Thomas Francis off in the blood bin, and Alex Brown in. Oz.
Guys, the last few plays when they've had Eastman, they've used Burgess as a decoy. Watch the chances now. His last 3 is a decoy. He's going to get a really flat ball and just run at it. They've had 3 set-up plays where it's gone behind to Rockadaguni, and Hill stepped in. So now he's in 2 minds, Hill. What's he going to do? Is he going to let Burgess go, or is he going to drift out onto Rockadaguni? Now this is a real test of Sam Hill and his defensive skills, but also Eastman.
Still need a good gap in the
carry shot today.
Too close.
Defensively, real conundrum now for the Chiefs, and Eastman and Rockadaguni just behind him, and Devoto just behind Sam Burgess. Wide out on the far left, Chiefs right from their perspective. There in the distance, Ollie Woodburn.
Ball's got to come out of the scrum though first. Usually when Austin picks something up, we get a scrum penalty.
Bring your feet up underneath.
All you want here as a back, the only outcome you want is the ball out at a decent play. You practice all of your plays during training in the week, these sorts of positions. Right-hand scrum, we know exactly what's coming. Give us the ball forwards. I'm not bothered if I get a penalty. I'm not bothered if you push the other pack backwards 5 yards. Give us the ball. 15 in a team, not 8.
Well, if they push them back 10 yards, they score a try
they'll probably
without
knock it
you
on.
lot dropping it.
Two Ben Spencer penalties have put Sarries back ahead. Not a good day for Scotland. Now, where's that ball from a Bath perspective? They'll get a penalty.
Got to go straight, running round.
One of the issues with setting up those attacking plays behind the scrum at the moment, Ben, is that it's just so difficult to get quick ball because it's not being hooked. You're not getting that ball that's snapped back between the feet of the number 8.
We started to talk about it in the first half, that
Lines there,
players
not in the air.
The hookers are struggling to hook because the quality of the shove from the opposition, who don't have to hook, is so good. So they're struggling to lift their foot off the ground and still get the ball back.
Up and down, don't get in front. Sweep in front, yeah.
What now from a line out?
One backwards.
Often the most secure ball at the moment, but adapting a more traditional alignment for this. Not sure how soon they'll see it. The forward seem happy to give it a shot for the time being.
7.
Another penalty against Don Armand.
Don't turn it around. 7.
I know some people watching may think that I'm going on about this, but the game is for all shapes and sizes. It is not, and it is becoming a game where the front 8 just get on with each other. They have a scrap against each other to complete detriment to the back lines. We're talking 7 minutes now since that first scrum went down, and no back has touched the ball other than Ollie Devoto to kick it into touch. I reckon we go rugby league and we don't push in the scrums anymore.
They gave it back to the backs and they kicked it away.
Something has to be done.
Yep. Move!
From the line out, Stuart Hooper gritting his teeth, Armand trying to come through again to disrupt it. That ball's gone to ground, but not before it's been picked up by Ferns. It's as close as Bath have been to the try line. Garvey peels off to the right, and they'll have another scrum. Italy, by the way, at Murrayfield, won with a 79th minute penalty try.
On the ground, going forward.
So there'll be no talking point in Edinburgh this evening. Goodness me.
Time off.
See Don Armand in there, but he's worried. He's given away one penalty. So as he comes through, he has to pull out.
It's Don Day, who is
Guys, say the same thing. I'm out of patience.
time to get to his feet.
Guys, say the same thing. I'm out of patience with recess. Okay, so I'm out of patience with recess.
This is how he was hurt. He was actually hurt by his own man. There's Day, and there's Hooper coming in, and
Come forward.
Thanks.
Just running around.
Referee's just had a word with both front rows, saying he's out of patience with resets. Which is not what you want to hear when you're the team in black on your own line.
Jack Yendall getting a firm grip around Alex Brown. Fascinating little scrum masterclass from Adam Jones. You might have seen it on Monday, Rugby Tonight. The tightness of the grips that the hookers like. That is a tight grip that Yendall has as Chiefs try to dig in here. Well, it wasn't clean right from the start. Frustration for Mike Ford, but the challenges that they're having in the scrum of securing quick, workable ball. Shake of the head from Toby Booth in the middle. Neil Hatley looks disconsolate, is a word that you might use. It's Neil Hatley on the right-hand side, and well, he's claiming that it's the Chiefs driving in.
Don't worry, we're doing the same as you.
Two of the world's largest scrum brains coming together side by side. the end of it all, Chiefs have a line out to try and clear their lines, and it's been a testing 5 or 6 minutes for them. Looks as if they're going to survive without conceding any points. Chudley with James off in pursuit. Rockadagooni's underneath it. He's got time. Runs into, a little bit over Waldron. Devoto as Mum hunts him down, and Eastman, who's fed by Burgess. Batty. That's been lost forward. And all of a sudden, from having a scrum 5 metres from their own try line, Chiefs will have one of their own midway between halfway and the 10-metre, as Rob Webber and Max Laheath prepare to join the fun.
Obviously a response from the last scrum. Exeter
2 and 3.
won the penalty. That's not going to help Ross Batty's cause either.
Batty joined by Palmer Newport on the trudge back to the touchline.
We've seen more of him at loose head, but he's going to slot straight in on the tight head side.
Ben Abano, by the way, 20-year-old loose head who set for his Premiership debut if he comes on. He's Bounce other replacement in the front row. Laheath into the equation here, however, reacquainting himself with the Premiership. There's the tomahawk choppers finding their voice.
It's now the far side. You need to get time with the binding. You understand crouch point. No, he's not.
So he's had time away with Melbourne and Hawke's Bay. He loves working with Neil Hatley and Toby Booth, and it's one of the reasons he chose Bath as his relaunch point back in English rugby.
Get on with it. Okay, you two, come here. Rob, we've got a good gap. Let's get in the gaps, in the left, and let's get in town. Yeah. Come on, come on.
What's the importance of that gap, Ben? Why are referees so keen to police it?
It's obviously become a shorter gap since they changed the engagement and the pre-bind. It's just about one side not crowding the other, making sure the height's right.
Early engage. Far side.
Dean Richards reckoned that it was Bath who were crowding there illegally, and Dolman with James can come away with the ball. Oh, this is interesting. James on an arcing run, but Woodburn should be there, and he is. But off our seats for the first time. A bit of action that didn't involve a scrum.
Two. Far side free.
They work it well to the outside, don't they? Lovely pass from Slade. He's just through the hands and pace running onto the ball. Unfortunately, the kick's just gone a little bit too far for James. It just goes to show what you can do if you pass the ball out of a scrum.
That's a different area of the field, isn't it? So you've got more chance of scoring from that distance if you give it out the scrum. 5 metres out, you've got more chance of scoring a try if you keep it in.
Big roar as Luke Cowan-Dickey takes the place of Jack Yendall. Chudley, Armand, studdedly to Slade, who didn't seem overly happy with that kick. I don't know whether he meant it to stay in touch, but anyway, it'll be a bad throw at the line out.
Not through the line out.
Generally speaking, only Saracens kick the ball away more from hand than Exeter do. Both got accurate kickers of a ball from hand. Chiefs with Slade and Steenson, who still waits in the wings this afternoon. Homer, to stretch to all of his inches then.
Hughes.
Nicky Young.
Release.
Oh, that's It's got caught up in the wind and
Backwards.
barely makes any distance at all. And this is Hill. He's on a little arch of his own. Hit by Homer. Chudley. Taken by Ewers. Held up by Ortarak, who's still holding him up. And finally gets the ball to ground, and Chudley can press the reset button. This is Jess.
Release!
With electrified arms and legs. Cowan Dickey hit by Hooper. Carl Ferns was there as well, but it's still Chiefs ball. Slade. Tom James runs away from the tackle of Lowe, and he's still going. He's been prominent in the last few minutes, the Welsh wing. Welch. Chudley. Jess. Witten. Hill was offering himself. No midfielders beaten more defenders than Hill so far this season in the Premiership, and he had another couple there, but then the ball was lost forward, and a promising move is brought to a frustrating conclusion for the Chiefs. Devoto, where's this going? Where's Eastman going? He's running into Hill.
Advantage over, use it!
Garvey. Devoto slaps it back over halfway. And it's gathered in by Jess. Slade. He did well to evade what might have been a big hit from Day. Rode the tackle. James doing more work in midfield and inviting the tackle from Garvey. Rimmer took the ball from in front of the face of his skipper. Waldron wants it. Dolman wants it. And Witten wants it, and Jess wants it as well. And it was read by Woodburn, who hit him at the same time as the ball arrived.
Much better from the Chiefs. Great attacking intent. James with some really good carries. Just attacking, as Austin said, running harder than their opposite numbers at the moment, though Bath, Eastman in particular, is carrying well. It's opening up the game. One missed tackle, one bit of miscommunication in the back line defensively. Could be the match-winning try.
Head.
It's Luke Cowan Dickey who's getting some treatment.
Head, so not a problem.
It's a brilliant carry by James, wasn't it? Just the spin, cuts the angle and then spins out of the tackle. Completely deceives Day, drags in two extra defenders. Just the next phase as they came around the corner, not using decoy runners quite effectively enough. So obvious that's not going to them. The white shirts can all drift off. Just need to maintain their discipline a little bit as they come around the corner of the Chiefs. They put themselves under unnecessary pressure.
Tom James making his first start in the Aviva Premiership for 5 months.
Good to go.
He's been a busy old giant today.
Time on.
Actually, remember when Tom James first broke into the Blues side and was winning his first Welsh caps? He was big for a winger back then, and he just seems commonplace. The big man that Austin's been talking about today. Don Day making sure that that ball comes back on the blue side. Oh, it's been swept up by Lowe.
Yes, the players think that went forward as it dropped to the floor.
Use it!
Jess, Dolman. Get the sense that the match is reaching its decisive stage. Point where both sides are starting to play their cards, and Mum runs into Rockadaguni.
Such pace, Dean Mum, hasn't he?
It's okay, ball's there.
Ball's there for Ewers to use. Went on a little dart. He was stopped by Eastman. Fair battle weight-wise, but Eastman did well to slow him down. Cowan Dickey, and Day's hit has actually hurt him more than Cowan-Dickey. Very upright as he went into that tackle. Slade. Here goes Hill, and here goes Witten. Jess has to come in to try and make sure that ball comes back for Exeter. Webber having a dig. Slade again spins it away under some pressure. James. Mon. Centre of the pitch. They can go left or right. Austin thinks they're going to go right, and that's the way they do go with Slade. Most phases that they've put together in the match so far. Will it lead to something tangible? Jess.
Jess searching out the big front five forwards there. Cutting back, trying to catch them as they drift across the field.
Match that still waits for its first try. Chiefs putting in a few bids here now. Ewers. Once again, it's Burgess leading that midfield defence. Waldron, Cowan-Dickey. He's run off a couple of tackles and he gets the ball away to Welch. Woodburn was aware of the danger.
Woodburn did really well to own the space, slowed it right down, just went past the ball and made the Chiefs clear him out.
Marr accelerating, Witten pushing. Sandy Park expectant. Ewers arching the back, driving for the line. Folk in front of us think they've scored. Dean Richards not so sure. They've got to give it another go. They've never been closer in this match yet. Waldron thinks he sees a hole, but there were bodies over that hole. Alex Brown's there. And I think it's Brown who gives it a go. You're going to have at least one more shot for the line, though.
Screaming for the ball. He's in acres of space on his own on this far left wing. The message not getting passed in from Slade. So the forwards keep battering the line.
They get a penalty.
One's got to roll.
No, there was a moment there where the communication could have got through if Slade could have spun it. There was an acre.
Dolman as well going ballistic, but the ball never came.
Great defence from Batho, wasn't it, on the line? For all money, it looked like Exeter were going to go over. Laheath put in a brilliant tackle. Woodburn, Garvey got nice and low. It's almost relentless, wave after wave of attack. Slade gets through, and then it's an offload out the tackle by Luke Cowan-Dickey. Like you said, Woodburn put in 3 consecutive tackles there that stopped tries. The defence from the wide guys, as much as the tight 5, that have really helped back in that last phase. I think that's harsh. I don't know where Ultimac's going to roll to there. His legs are trapped by 4 or 5 guys.
While all that was going on, Chris Cook's taken the place of Mickey Young, and leaving screen left as we saw Damien Welch replaced by Mitch Lees in the Chiefs' engine room. Now this for the lead. Once again on the breeze, just put it in the air and let the elements do the rest. 9-6, a dozen minutes to go.
I think that man there will see that as a lost opportunity. He would have wanted 7 points from that. The pressure they'd had, as Austin said, outstanding defence from Bath. But Exeter not really making the right decisions. Had they scored the try close in, I'm sure they would have thought it was the right decision, but it would have been a walking out wide.
Alafotti for Arceleva, on for Carl Ferns. Just a reminder, for those who've been living on Mars this week, Chiefs have never beaten Bath in the Premiership. Here goes Homer, it's opening up here. Rokodaguni was in some space, and Burgess holds on to it, then lets it go before the passage was entirely clear. And Cowan-Dickey comes away with it, all loose. It's been lost forward, on they go. Picked up by Day. Is there to be an immediate response from the hosts? Chris Cook screaming for it. This is Laheath.
Push.
Cook, little look to the right, where he finds Webber, and then Burgess floats it to Eastman, who I think thought about the kick, and then instead gave it to Rokoduguni.
Advantage over.
It's tackled by Witten. This match has just fizzed into life in the last 10 minutes. Looked like we were drowning in reset scrums not so long ago. Enjoying it now.
Move!
Autorak.
No, no. Thank you.
Devoto. Rokoduguni. Popping up in the middle lane. Woodburn. Holding off Witten, going beyond Witten. And then he's driven into touch, a combination of Dolman and Slade.
Yeah, really good defence. He does excellent to get round the outside Woodburn and stay on the field of play. He then just needs to regain his balance so he can step or fend, and found his shoulders too far in front of him, so ended up going for the big bosh on the outside. But Devoto does well because he gets to the outside man, makes the decision. And it's great defence from Dolman, isn't it?
A couple of times in that last attack, Bath really using their decoy run as well, with the ball going in behind Eastman a couple of times.
Don't let go, don't let out, surrender it.
Great indecision in the defensive line and opportunities.
Chudley clears long. Once again, using the home elements. You can see why he's first choice ahead of Dave Lewis and Hayden Thomas at the moment. He's played well.
The chase is excellent as well from Exeter. Look at the kick. Just gets it up on the wind. Woodburn misreads it, lets it land. Then he can still go here, still time to go, but look how good that chase is from Exeter. 4 guys absolutely blitzing. Stops Bath getting any territory back.
Andy. HIA.
Autorak's coming off, Nick, for a head injury assessment.
Which means that young Ben Abano will come on to take his place. Byron McGuigan we saw getting ready to come on for the Chiefs as well.
The thing about Abano, he hasn't really got very big arms.
Or legs.
Oh, I thought his legs were his arms.
15.
Mate, he is
15.
huge. Look at that.
15.
He's only 20 though, he's got time to grow.
Stone.
15's gone.
It's probably more than 20 stone, isn't it?
This time last week he was on the bench for Coventry against Hartbury College. Made his debut for the club in the LV Cup this season. And he's Maro Atoje's cousin. There are the facts and figures. We're about to see what he's like as a rugby player in the Premiership.
Do you reckon he works out?
Day took some buffeting but came down with the ball.
Don't swim out, no, give up 2. Out you go now.
Good work from Francois Lowe, drawing the penalty. Every metre in this last 10 minutes will be so hard earned by Bath, though, against the wind.
Let's go, guys.
Stevenson, and some congratulations to Dolman. Update from Allianz Park, and it's a result. 3 Ben Spencer penalties, rescuing Sarries. Newcastle, who were ahead, will go away with the consolation of a losing bonus point. Here goes Hewitt, and here's Mum. He's got Armand up in support, and Mum's on the charge. Chiefs once again off in search of what might yet be a decisive try. Jess to Hill. James back inside, and Witten on the burst. Holes suddenly seem to open up. 8-9 metres short. Chudley stamping to release possession. Chudley again. Witten once more. Held up by Rokoduguni. How much hard work have Bath done defensively in the last 10 minutes? How much more do they have in their lungs, in their legs, in their hearts to hold another Chiefs raid off?
Again, they go tight, it's close in, but they've got to recognise when they drag the defenders in, they're all still wide, those white shirts at the moment. They can keep battering close.
Driven through the middle of the try for Chudley. Bath's defences finally breached by the Chiefs scrum half.
Now for me, it all starts with Dean Mumm, who's been outstanding all game. He carries Ewers, drawing people in the fend on Woodburn. And now he's dragged all those white shirts in, and like Northampton last week, Exeter realised that Bath are narrow. The overlaps on the outside, they can take easy meters. The cut back inside, all important. Now they're in behind. But look, Bath don't get narrow this time. There's a load of space around the guard area, and Chudley spots it, goes himself. Excellent work try from the Chiefs.
Oh, they've got a lot of work to do between now and May and securing a place in the playoffs. They've got some tough games, but they know as well as we all do that as the season goes, may be an enormous try. Rob Baxter making sure that they've got them positions for this restart absolutely right. This is a big one.
Yeah, Dominic Day at fault. He's calling for players to come round the corner and help him, but he's just too wide and he doesn't step in. The second defender around the breakdown has to take the 9 darting in case he puts the ball back inside, and then the first defender can take that inside runner.
Taken on the fall by Homer. Bath, a little over 5 minutes to try and eat into this 10-point deficit. At the moment, they are heading home with nothing, unless Cook can do something about it. Back in the mix after a bang to the head against Saracens. Brilliant season for him up to this point. There's Abano.
Move 6!
Eastman. Flick to Burgess and Rockadaguni, and Rockadaguni's still going. Just enough Slade to slow him down. Burgess, what's on his mind? Puts the ball away for Usaliva. Burgess again, central to things, as is Eastman, and Devoto did really nicely, but the ball was forward as Rockadaguni cottoned onto it.
Eastman in particular worked that play so well. Out one way, back inside. This is the one that goes forward. But the opportunities, Tony Rose delighted with it. Just a little bit more delay, and they could have been in danger.
I can never remember seeing him down on the touchline, and as he decided to head down in the lift, they scored the try. So he's actually missed the try that might win them the match.
Maybe the lift's lucky then. Maybe he'll go up and down in it for all the games coming up.
I was here on Thursday night for a dinner, and they knew this game was possibly one of the most important, or they felt, in their history. As they think they win this, they're perfectly placed to fight their way into the top 4.
If they do reach the playoffs for the first time in their history, they'll have negotiated a less than friendly fixture list. Still away to Leicester, Wasps and Saracens. We've got Northampton here as well. So they're not printing the tickets for the playoffs just yet. This will be an enormous win.
Stay down and stay in. You drive both teams, yes.
10 extra 9 to stay behind the 4.
Don't block him, but you must.
By the way, that Seremiah Bai scored Leicester's final try in an important win for them against Sale. Leicester scoring tries again.
Yeah, they're able to field a really strong side for the first time in a long time, Leicester today.
Long wait for a try that crept into a 5th hour, ended at Welford Road this afternoon. And they're right back in the mix. Move above Sale in the table. Exeter at the moment are moving above Bath in the table. And they've got a penalty.
Let's go then.
It was a rather cagey first half, dominated by the breeze. The start of the second half was interrupted by reset scrum after reset scrum, but the last 20 minutes have just been full of colour and noise and verve and excitement.
Yeah, the Chiefs have had some good ball carriers in that period. Both wingers doing a good job, but for me, the best ball carrier in the engine room, doing his work there, man of the match, Aviva, man of the match, is Dean Munn.
Struggling to find a bottle of the sponsor's champagne before the match. Eventually track one down, and it will be given to Dean Munn fairly shortly. Less than 2 minutes to go. Chudley to Slade, and Whitten offering himself. Instead it's gone to McGuigan, the new man, Scottish A international, sevens player, a bit of a journeyman in recent times, but he's coming to replace the injured Crusander Borta, the Namibian who broke his leg. James has had a big second half. He has had a big second half. Every time he's had the ball, he's suggested some havoc, as has this man, Munn. Waldron to Slade. They're looking to confirm things here with a second try. Jess to Whitten. Flicked off the floor. Taken on by Ewers, who's running as strongly in the 89th minute, in the 79th minute, as he was in the first.
Another player who's had a really strong game. Just that long fend that he has.
Whitten, Armand, Rockadaguni getting in the way. Ball lost forward, but they're looking for more, and
just a knock on.
They will come back for the knock on. The Chiefs will have a scrum, and they can squeeze out time to what will be an historic win for them and the man whose money helped put them where they are today.
So easily could have just gone straight through the hands there. Defender was sat down, heels on the floor. There's a walk-in from the outside. But it's been an excellent second half performance from Exeter. They weathered a bit of early pressure from Bath, stood up to them. Then they go forward, they're big ball carriers, got on that ground. Talk about Six Nations hampering sides. Bath can't wait to see the end of it.
Just look at this, just look at the emotion in the terraces, on the faces of the fans, even on the face of the headman. If he could go round and hug everyone in the crowd, you'd sense that he might. It's that type of win for the Chiefs. Time's up, and those who remember the days when they weren't a Premiership outfit will enjoy this just as much as those who've joined the club on their adventure more recently.
Yeah, now they've beaten every team since they've been up in the Premiership. This was the last remaining scalp. They've worked hard for it. They're continuing to work hard in defence, but they know they've got the game sewn up.
Driven forward by Garvey. Saliva over halfway. Bath heading for a third successive defeat. They will still be in the playoffs at the end of the weekend, but the quicksand is starting to rise. Cook, drastic measures from Homer to hold on to possession.
No hands!
Cook again.
Still worth the fight for Bath, isn't it? That bonus point, still a possibility.
And it might be so valuable as well come the end of May. Bath's final game of the regular season in May against Gloucester at Kingsholm. Eastman chips the ball through, picked up by Francois Lowe. Rockadaguni, they're still off in search of what would be a losing bonus point, but not now. Not now. And here's something we've never said. Here's something we've never said. Exeter have beaten Bath in the Premiership. And you don't need to hear from me what it means. You can look at the faces, you can hear the voices. That's as big a win as they've had in years and years and years. They've buried the bogey.